This conference will now be recorded.
Hi guys, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah. Okay, let me share the screen. 1 minute.
Hey, Shyam. Hi. Good evening. Am I audible? Shyam, are you talking? I don't hear. I'm not able to hear anything. That's the reason I'm asking actually.
Hello, Shyam. Your mic is turned off, Shyam.
Yeah, something. Yeah. But I'm able to hear you, but not Shyam's voice actually.
Hi guys, can you hear me? So sorry, I'm speaking
Yeah.
on mute. Okay,
Yeah. Now we
now
are
able to
good.
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay.
thought it's
So
my
sorry guys.
connection problem. I was reconnected just now actually. Yeah. Now we are good.
Okay, so last we have started with Git, SCM, source code management. We have started, guys. So how the developers are communicating, how the developers are sharing the code. So that can be done via using SCM. So real-time scenario, they will talk about what is your SCM URL. SCM is nothing but source code management. So it is any kind of a project, any domain you take it. So for every company, if you are working under the DevOps side, so they are going to talk about your SCM. SCM is nothing but this is a URL where the developers will store only the project code. Nothing apart from this project code, they are not going to store anything like softwares, files, zip files, anything, nothing. Those kind of things will not be shared. So if you want to store some other extra things except the project code, we have other tools are there. For if you want to store your project code, only project related code which you are working current project, that will be maintained under the SCM. Okay, so SCM in the real-time scenario, you will be seeing a lot of tools. So based upon the company, they can go with any one of the tools. Okay, so most of the tools like we can see GitLab, Bitbucket, okay, and GitHub. Okay, so these are the tools which we can see, and if you are hear about these tools like Bitbucket or GitLab, anything. So if you see this kind of a tools, don't get confused. Okay, so everything it's like alternative tool. For every tool which we are learning, we have lot of alternative tools are available in the market. So every tool will do the same thing. We have to go with commands and pushing the code, pulling the code, and these operations only we'll have it. So in our training session, we are going with GitHub. So how to create an account and workflow of Git. What is the workflow of the Git? We have seen in the last session how to workflow. What is your working directory? So what is your staging area? What is your local repository? What is your central repository? Where everybody can access the code, like everybody can access the code. So that code we are going to call it as a central repository. So the person who is sitting in different geographic location, okay, any location, the person who is sitting it, so he can access the code. Okay, so the person who is working from India, US, anything, for everybody, they will have the same access speed. They can download it. So how they are accessing and how they are pushing it, all the operations we have seen in the last class. Okay, so now we are going to discuss about the new topic in SCM. So that is called as a branches. What is meant by branches? What is the usage of the branches? We are going to cover in this today's session. Okay, so up to clear here. Up to here, anybody have any doubts, any
Sam,
questions?
this GitHub and source code management both comes in same, or GitHub is different and source code management is different? Both are
Source
different.
code management is the naming convention we are using. So naming convention for our understanding. So we are taking as a source code management is like a naming convention we are using where we are maintaining the source code in which tool. So these are all the tools.
Okay, got it.
Okay, source code management is nothing but where we are storing our source code. So in which tool we are maintaining it. So these are the tools. For all the tools we are maintaining our source code, project code. Okay, so they will talk about SCM, so source code management. So here they can create account, or they may here they create account. So GitHub. Okay, so when you join an organization, if you are working on the project, so immediately they will share that. So this is our source code management URL. So it is maybe existing project or new project. So immediately we have to use the tools. We need to work on it. Okay. Okay. So now, so already we have account, and if you go to the github.com, so already we have created an account here. Okay. Okay, so like this. So now why we require the branches? Okay, so default branch for everything, it's a master. So if you see this master branch, we are not going to create it. Okay, so this master branch, we are not going to create it. So in this default branches master, we are not creating this branch as a master. Automatically you can see this is a default branch called master. So for every project we have a default branch, so that is master branch. So why we require branches now? So for example, you are working on a project. If you take hospital management, you are working on a particular domain, particular project like hospital management. So this is our project. So inside this project, we are not going to deliver this project immediately. So for every project, we have a certain duration will be there. So like 1 month, 6 months, 1 year. Okay, immediately nobody will deliver the project. So we are going to segregate this project into modules. Okay, so for example, we have a doctor's model. So we have a nurses model. So we have a billing model. So we have something like inpatient model, outpatient. So like that, so entire project they are dividing into the modules. So first they have started with one module. So for example, the duration of this doctor's model, everything like development work, it comes like UI, front end, back end, plus business logic. So everything they will write all the things which are required for this module. So we are going to write entire work here. So if you are working on any kind of a module, again it is a combination of your files and folders. But in the file, what kind of domain you are taking, like Java, .NET, PHP, Angular, any domain you take it. So if you are taking, it's like a files and folders. So they are going to work on your logic code. Okay, so these files and folders, they are going to, these files and folders, they are from the combination of files and folders will be there. So now once this doctor models is completed, so different developers are working on different logic. So one is working on the login page, one is working on the doctor's appointment details. So one is working on the how much schedule time is there. So how the 8 hours is allocated. So for each patient, how much time you are going to slots. So everything UI, business logic, saving the data of the doctor's information, everything. So that will be carried out in your particular model. So once this work is done, so finally we are going to push the code to the master model. Okay, so we are pushing that code into the master's model. For example, now this is completely related to your doctor's model. So different developers, UI developers or backend developers or front-end developers, any persons are working. So finally they will given the task sheet and they will finish the doctor's model. So once this doctor model is completed within the timeline, so they are going to push the code to the master branch. Okay, so once they push it to the code branch, so this is done. Now this module has to be carried out into multiple environments. Like first they will do work in the dev environment. So then we will go with SIT. Then same code will be carried out to the UAT. Finally, we are going to move to the production. Okay, so finally we are going to move to the production here. So once this has been moved to the production, so we are good to, that is done. So everything we can identify in the each environment. So if any issues has been happened, okay, so if any issues or anything happened, so what we can do, so we can okay, so every issues are happened, they will identify the lower environment only. So if any bugs or any issues find out dev environment, again the developers will fix the same code and they will deploy the code into the dev environment. So they will tell that doctor's model issues has been fixed. Again the same code they will move to the SIT. Even if the issues are found at the SIT level also, so the developers will fix the code. Again the same code has been carried out to the dev SIT. So if SIT sign off we get it, then we will plan for the UAT. Same code but different environments. So this is like a pre-production environment. So this will be like a client. Okay, so this is like UAT. It's like a pre-production environment. Before moving to the production, so we are going to implement the same doctoral model to the UAT environment. So finally, the code will be moved to the production. So successfully, we have delivered to the production. So even if you find the production bugs, so we can't directly fix it in the production. It has to be carried out to the all the environments. Same code has to be carried out to the multiple environments. So this production will be the client access. This is the pre-production and this is for testing. This is for the development team. So like that one module, they will finish it and they will move to the production. So now this model is completed. Now we have to start with new module. Everything goes well, like it's take around 2 months or 3 months. So they will identify the bugs, they will fix it, they will move it, and finally they have delivered the code. So development work, we are not taking care of it. So developers only take it out. So we are out, we are the DevOps engineer, just we are carrying out the process. So this environments creations, okay, so deploying it to the various environments. So what we are going to do it, so we are going to set up the environments, dev, SIT and utility. So whatever the code that each individual developer machine is there, same code we are going to make it as a central. How he is doing in the local machine, same thing we are carrying out of central with the help of the DevOps tools. So this process we are using lot of tools. What the model which we are delivering to the multiple environments. So to implement this whole process, we are using certain tools. So in the first phase, we are taking out the code. Okay, so we are taking out the code and we are pushing the code to the production. Okay, so this whole process we need to implement it. So once this doctor's model is implemented, okay, so now we need to start with nurse model. So in order to start the nurse model, I don't want to disturb the existing code. Already the doctor's model is working fine, so it has moved to the production. I don't want to disturb the existing branch. So now I don't want to work on the master branch. I have to create a new branch. So that branch should contain the code of master branch code plus our new code should be there. So that is the concept of creating the branches. Already the doctor's model has been moved to the production. If you write the same code in the master branch, if anything goes wrong, so our entire work till now, what are the efforts we have done, it will go off. So if anything problem happens to the nurse model, so we have the doctor's model is there. So that's the reason we don't want to disturb the existing code. What we will do, we have to get the doctor's model code, but that can be done when you create a new branch. Okay, so that is the main usage of here. Okay, so if you want to see that example, just we'll take the, so now go to your server, copy your enter IP address, SSH, authenticate, browse it. Okay, so now previously if you are going to work on the scratch project, so we have the concept called initialization. So working directory will be there. So in which directory we are going to perform git initialize, so that directory will become as a working directory. Okay, but now I don't want to work with scratch project. I want to work with existing project, means so already some coding will be there. So directly they will share the URL. So if you want to work with existing project, just we have to use git clone. So git clone, if you use it, this is for existing project. If you type it, so what are the files and coding files which are available, same with the same folder name, we can get all the things. Okay, now we can see doctors.java, login.java, pom.xml, same files of how it is there in the thing, it will have it. So when it search for which branch currently, so you can search with git branch. So when you type git branch, it will defaultly shows that, so our current branch is master branch. Okay, so now, so for example, this is master branch. I have doctors file something login.java and pom.xml. Now, if I want to work with nurse model, I don't want to work in master branch. So just if you create a new branch, git branch name. So my branch name is something, I'm going to create a develop branch. Now, if we see the branch again, now we can see the develop branch. Wherever you see the stars, currently we are in this branch. So if you want to switch from one branch to another branch, so we have to use command called git checkout that branch name. One branch to another branch, if you want to switch out, so we have to use git checkout command. Git checkout that branch name. So if you do like this, switch it to the branch develop. Now, if you type the branch here, you can see currently I'm in develop branch. So the main advantage of here is like, so when you are creating a new branch, what is the current branch of master is there? What are the current code which is there in the master branch? It will be automatically copied to your new branch. Okay, so that is the main usage of branches. So even if you are creating a new branch now also, so currently if you check the git branch, so currently we have dev branch. Now I'm going to create one more branch called release branch. If you type git branch, so we can see again master branch, develop branch and release branch. So currently it is in the develop branch. If I want to move to the release branch, so git checkout, so that branch name. Switch it to release branch. Now if you type the ls, so what are the master branch code will be there, automatically it will be copied into your release branch. So like that the workflow is like, so whenever you are creating any new branch, automatically master branch code will be copied here. So then we are going to write our new code of related to nurses model. So we will write the new code and we will test it in the dev environment. So we will carry it out to the production like that. We don't want to disturb the existing working code. So if anything goes wrong, can you revert back the code, means what we will do, we will deploy our master branch code, not with the nurse model code. Okay, so that is the main usage of creating the branches. Already the working code and existing code. If you don't want to disturb that existing code, then we will go with doctor's model. Okay, so now if you want to work with nurse model, I have multiple branches I've created. So if you don't work in this particular branch, So just delete that particular branch. Branch -d branch name. Branch -d means it will delete the respective branch. I don't want to keep the branch, so just keep on branch. I have only two branches. One is master branch and another one is release branch. So if you take ls, same thing. Now same process. Instead of master branch, so what I will do, I'm going to work on the going to create a new files nurse.java. So the developers will write the logic and we will add it. Same thing, we will use the commit message. Okay, so committed, added. Now if we check it, so we are currently in the release branch ls. So if you see the release branch, I have nurse.java, but when you check out to the master, we don't have nurse related logic. Okay, so when you create a branch, master branch code will comes. So from there, what we will do, so we keep on adding our new code related to the nurses, variables, environment variables, or files, folders, subfolders, anything you create it. So that will be taken care by the developers. Nurse.java, db.properties, UIT properties, files, folders, subfolders, anything, any structure they maintain it. It's a combination of files and folders. Okay, so currently we are in which branch? We need to check it out. So if you want to move from one branch to another branch, check out of release branch. Now here we have the nurse.java. Again, if you want to write anything db.properties file, so we will write in the release branch. So we'll check the status. So when you do the status, so it will tell that on branch release, not in the master branch. So it will clearly tell that. So untracked changes in the same workflow, but currently we are in the release branch. So what we need to do? So we need to add it, commit our changes, db something properties added. So you can open the file, you can write the content, you can create a new, edit, update, delete. Okay. Okay, so like that. So now if you check the git status in my release branch, so nothing is there. So if you see the files, so I have a lot of files, nurse.java, db.properties, but these files will not be there in the master. So if you go and check out master ls, so we don't see files. Now what we will do, so this branch we are going to carry out to the same thing. We will add the nurse module code, dev. Again, the same code will move to the SAT, UAT, and production. So now in the production, we have both the models, doctors and nurse model. So dev, they will deploy it. Developers will keep on testing it. So they will push the code. They will take some other codes. They will pull the code. So they will check entire functionality, whether it is working as expected. So until it is working fine, then they will tell that. So we are planning to move to the code to the SAT environment. So testers will test it. If any bugs are found, again the development team update the coding files. Again they will deploy into the dev environment. We will deploy into the SAT. So then we'll plan for the UAT. Finally, the same code has to be carried out to the production. So once this production has been deployed is done, now we are going to work on the new model. Like that, the project will be goes forward. Now, if we start in the billing model, so billing model should contains what should contains? Doctors model should contain. Again, it should contain nurse model. Again, we need to write new code related to billing. We need to write it. But if you create a new branch, whenever you are creating a new branch, so what is the current master branch code is there? So that code only it will be created. But this nurses model will not be available. So that is the scenario, right? So when you are creating a new branch, so it will always checks whatever the master branch code is there. So if you create, check the branch. So currently I'm in the master branch. In the master branch, I have only few files are there. But nurse model related changes, I don't have it. So nurses model has been tested finally to the production. If it is working fine, then what we will do it. So we will go to the master branch and we will do the match. Always we should be in the where you want to pull the code changes, in that branch only we should be always. For example, I'm in the master branch. What are the changes that has been done in the release branches? I want to merge that code from my release branch to master. So when this happens, so if it is moved to the, this branch has been, this branch code, both doctors and nodes has moved to the production. Until it is working fine, we'll get the confirmation mail that, okay, so until we will get the confirmation that the production, the code changes has been moved, it contains both doctors and model and nurses model, everything is working fine as expected. So then what we will do, so already it is a working code. So if you create a new branch here, what will happen? It will always pull from the master branch, but master branch contains only doctor's model. So what we will do, so once this model is deployed in the production, what are the code which has there in the nurse model, we are going to merge this code to the master branch. So merge can be done. So master branch, I don't have those latest changes. So we have to use git merge release branch. Once you do the merging of related branch, so it will compare the two branches. Okay, what are the changes which are there in my branch? I will pull all the changes from your branch and I will copy it into the master branch. So if you see now, everything copied from your release branch. Now if we, everything got it. Nurses related DB properties. Now if you create it, branch it, so it will keep the changes from the master branch. Now what we will do, so we will create one more branch. What we need to create, something like branch name is billing. So if we check git branch, we have master branch, release branch and billing branch. So when you create a branch here, so what are the code which is available in the master branch, it will be copied automatically to the new branch. So if we do the git checkout billing, do ls, it contains both doctors models and nurse model code. Now we will, developers will start adding the billing related configurations, billing related files, everything they will add it. Okay, so now this is the way we are going to work with branches. So I don't want to disturb the existing functionality. So main branch is the master branch. Now if you see the branches here, so this branch contains nurse model. Now already this has been moved to the thing. I don't require this now. Git branch you type it. Okay, so now master and billing branch will contain the same kind of a code. So currently I'm in billing branch. I will check the status. On branch billing, nothing to commit, working tree clean is there. Okay, so now if you keep on adding the billing related information, we can add it or we can directly push. Instead of master, we need to tell origin should be billing model. Okay, so once you push it, new branch will be created there and you can enter your token name, username and token name. Okay, so let me verify the token name is there with me or not. Maybe I missed out. Okay, let me create one more token. Developer settings, personal access tokens, classic. So this token we'll copy it and we'll keep in handy. So what we are going to do it now, I want to push this to, it will ask for the username. Token. Shift home. Copy it. Okay, it has been moved to the billing. So now come here and refresh your, go to your repositories. Now you can see billing model. So if you see the billing model, you can see all the coding related to both doctors module and nurses module. So we can work on the same kind of a functionality, same workflow. But here, if you see master branch, we haven't pushed any changes to the master branch. So this is remote repository. In your local machine, you have merged the code. But if you see the billing model, okay, so like that, they will create a number of branches. So if they are working on the new model, they can create a branches. So this branch only they will deploy it for the remaining environments. So how this code secondary works. So if you want to work in a new, if you create a new branch, so in your local machine, so it will check it. Currently we are in branch. Now we can check the status. And if you want to add new files, so what we will do again, we will add the new files. You can write the content in the billing.java. Developers will write it if it is UI, database connectivity. Everything will write the logic, and finally they will do the git status by end of the day. Again, they will add it. They will commit it. Like this. Now, what we will do? Again, we'll check the git status. Do ls. So we have billing.java. But if you see in your center repository, we don't have the billing.java. So what we will do? So before pushing, we will use pull. If any changes are there, if no changes are there, again we need to apply. Again we need to apply our details. Copy it, paste it. Okay, now refresh the page. Same thing how we are doing for the master branch, same thing we are doing it, but here whenever the new coding or new functionality is working, so what we need to do, we have to create our branches. Okay, first we'll start with master branch, so then we'll keep on creating the new branches. We will create like this. Okay, so once your work is done, your local machine, you can delete it. Okay, so like this. Now what we will do, so we'll check ls. So we have billing.java, but when I check out to master, you see I don't have the new changes what is there in the billing model. So what if you want to do it means we should be in the master branch, so just use git merge that branch name. Automatically it will pull all the changes and it will keep adding it. Now if you want to create it, okay, same thing. Okay, so this is the way how the real-time scenarios works. So for example, I have told these things, but in the real-time scenario, you'll be working on any domain. So first release, they will go with one branch, that is master branch. So second release, they will go with other branch. Third release, they will go with other branch. So whenever you are doing any kind of a workflow, so finally they are going to merge with your master branch only. So master branch is the main branch. It contains the like original copy of your code. Okay, got it? This is the way, so we can create the branches. Okay, so in the interview question, they will ask about the one important question. So what is your branching strategies? This is the question they will ask in the interview. What is your branching strategy means? So we will use master branch as a main branch. We can tell it as Okay, so we can tell that we are using develop branch. Any new work or whenever you are starting a new module work, so we are going to use develop branch, and this branch we are going to use for lower environments. Okay, lower environments is dev and SAT. So they will create one more branch called release branch underscore. So what is the current month? If it is a May, it's like this. So this branch will be like a cutoff branch from your develop branch. So this branch only we will carry it out and deploy to the production. So once this is done to the production, so we are going to merge the code to the master branch. Okay, so only 3 branches will be used. It master branch will not touch it. So develop branch for lower environments and release branch for higher environments. Otherwise, we can go with some companies directly go with create a release branch from the master branch. So they will do work in the release branch. So they will move to the higher environments and lower environments, same branch they will use it. And finally, they are going to merge the code to the master. Again, if the next month start with new release, so release June, like this. So whenever creating the new branch, master branch code will be copied automatically to the release branch. Now we are going to start with new task. This task will be added by the development team. Okay, just we need to update in the jobs. So this is the branding strategy. We need to tell it. We are maintaining 2 branches. One is master branch, contains the original code. So we are going to create a release branch from the master branch. So we will add new changes in the release branch. So those changes only will move to the production. So once we get the sign up from the production, we are going to merge the code back to the master. So master is the original copy. So we should not disturb until we get the sign up and everything is working fine. If anything goes in the release branch, again we can create a new branch also. Delete this branch, again create a new branch. Okay, so this is called as a branching strategy. It is being used in the real-time scenarios. Okay, so like this. You can create any branch. So they will ask if you want to switch from the branch to branch. Okay, so how to delete the branch, how to create a new branch. Okay, how to switch from one branch to another branch. Okay, these type of questions they will ask it. Okay, so we should be very careful. So next thing is we are going to discuss about the git stats. So what is meant by git stats is nothing but so temporarily hiding your work. Okay, so temporarily if you want to hide your work, we can go with git stats. Okay, so as you know your workflow, so your workflow is like so working directory to staging, staging to local repository, from local repository we are going to the central repository. Okay, so this is the workflow. So same workflow now we are going to implement it. So what we can do, so currently we are in the git branch. You take any branch, master branch or any branch, you take it. So now what I am going to do it, so when you do anything, when you are tracking it, so generally will type the git status. So it will tell that, so if you are creating a new file, updating any file or creating the folder or deleting the file, anything you take it, so it will tell that untracked one. So for example, I'm creating one directory or one file, stats.txt. Just I created the file. So when you do the git status here, okay, so what will happen? So it will tell us untracked. It is showing us untracked for us. Okay, so now if we want to move the file to the staging area, what we will do? So now what will happen? Suppose you are doing one important work in the file. So manager or somebody will ping that you have to work on another files, not in the current file. So you have to stop your work currently where you are doing it. But Git will not allow us. If you don't save the file to your local repository, it will not allow us. Whenever you type the Git status, so always it will tell that it is untracked. Okay, so what we will do? So you have done some 30 to 50% of work in this file, but still 50% of the work is there. So temporarily manager or somebody told that, so there is an urgent important issue is there. So what are the work you are doing it? You save your work, but you need to work on another important work or important issue or bug issue we need to work it. So what we need to do? So I can't remove this file. I can't push to central repository because my entire work is not completed. So in that cases, what we want to do? So I want to accept this file. I want to commit everything. Means temporarily I want to hide the work. So what we will do? So we will add the file to the staging area, but this file we are not going to commit to the local repository. So when you type the git status, so in that cases, we will use the command called git stats. So when you apply the git stats, so git stats will be applied between your staging area and local repository. So now the file will not be allowed to the local repository. So now if you see the git status, it will tell that working clean. After adding the file, if I type the git status, it is telling that so you need to commit the file. You need to apply the commit command, but I haven't using the commit command, so I'm using the git stats. So what git stats will do? So what are the work you done in the staging area? If you want to hide the work temporarily, so then we will go with git stats. So this stats command, if you apply it, so when you type again the git status, what we will do? So nothing to commit, it's stay, but one file is hidden file is there, so that is stats.txt. So once you switch to another branch, once you do other works, so what we can do? So we can resume back our work. Okay, so git status, if you do, this comes. Now if you want to give stats list, if you do the git stats list, so one of the file has been hidden format, so just we will use git stats pop command. So if you use the pop command, again the file will comes to the staging area. Now you can add the file, you can add the modifications to your existing file, and you can do the changes. Okay, so now if somebody tells that again you need to stop the work, again we need to add some more changes in the file, again we can apply the git stats. Okay, so git stats will help us as a temporarily you don't commit the file, but you are keeping the file in the hold mode, hiding the file. So if you type the git status n number of times, so add it, update it, delete it, any operation you are performing it, so it will tell that and track the. So in that cases, if you want to hide a file, so just we need to use git stats. Okay, this is the way. Now once your work is done, so remaining work we can do our workflow. Okay, so git stats will help us to temporarily hold your work. So once the files has moved to the staging area, then only we can apply the git stats. Okay, either we can go with the reverse direction, but already after some work is done, temporarily you want to hide it, then we'll go with git stats. So git stats is also one of the important entry question they will ask in the git. Okay, so this is the way we can do it. So these are the things we can discuss this. Tomorrow we'll discuss about some more things.
Yeah, once we did git stats, right? So it's staging, right? After 1 hour, we want to continue the previous work. Like, do we need to apply anything, or just we need to work from there? Where we
Nothing. We have popped out, right? So if you see the git status, now we have done some work in this file. Hello, something stats.txt. Even if you do it, so again, if you do the git status, always it's tell that again we need to add it, again we need to commit it. So if you want to move the files, so the file should be in the staging area, then we are not going to commit the files. In that cases, we will use git stats. So when you apply the git stats, it will tell that nothing is there. So we are not committing the file to the local repository. So this is temporary hidden work. You can do with other works. Again, if you want to resume the work back, so again we can use git stats pop. Okay, so cat the work, your file contents will be like this one. Okay, just temporarily hiding the work. Okay. So tomorrow,
Yes, yeah.
two, three topics are there. So once we finish that, we are done with Git. Okay. So next we'll start with Jenkins. Okay. Bye guys.